Finally, guys, VE Tower is back, and you know I have to do a guide for it. However, I'm going to do this guide a little bit differently than I did previous guides because I feel like it's been a while since VE Tower has come around, so I'm not going to be trying to show you guys this time how to get like the highest score possible. I just want to show you guys in general what you would need to do to get a high score for the Impact Stage VE Tower. So as you can see, right now I am currently ranked 20. That was honestly with pretty minimal effort on my part. I went into the rankings, I looked at other people's teams who were like the top 3 ranking people, and I sort of maybe might have copied their teams a little bit. Okay, shout out to those people, Rosalina, Sunny, and Darkrad. I also talked to them, messaged them in the Discord, right? Asked them questions about their teams and stuff like that for team setups, and stole them a little bit. Okay, but I did not replicate their scores, obviously, because I am ranked number 20, and I did not try to get what I would consider to be a perfect score. So those top 3, I think, are perfect scores, and then right here you can see my score, 14,070. I did break 14,000 points, but it's not like the most impressive thing, right? So ideally, I believe this is a perfect run for those top 3 players. That's why it's all the same amount of points for them. And the way you get a perfect run is by scoring the maximum amount of points on each floor. And so that means on every single floor, they score the most points that are possible. Okay, so for the Impact Stage, double S difficulty, in order to score 14,229 points, you are going to want to get each floor done in 4 turns, okay? You don't want to take 5 turns. You don't want to do it in 3 turns because that's too quickly. And you also don't want to do it in 6 turns because that's way too long. Okay, 4 turns is your optimal turn count to get everything done that you need to get done. Okay, so with that said, let's go ahead and go into double S difficulty here. I am not going to do any resets this time around. So ideally, when you are going for a high score, you can reset your app each time it doesn't work out the way you want. Maybe you don't get the crits, the technicals, whatever that you wanted. If you close your app and reopen it, okay, you can reset the floor and start trying to get your high score on that floor again. Okay, so that's how these top players end up getting their high scores. They reset each floor. You don't have to leave it all up to RNG. You don't have to leave it all up to chance. Okay, so ideally on each floor, you're going for a 4-turn clear, and what you're looking for is you're looking for the maximum amount of crits. You're looking for the maximum amount of technical hits. You're looking for the maximum amount of status ailments, and then just to not do too much damage and not do too little damage. Okay, it's a lot of like finer points. Okay, so in order to get, also you need plus ultras. You need 5 plus ultras ideally by the end of the 4 turns. So in order to get 5 plus ultras by the end of 4 turns, it is a little bit difficult. Okay, so turn 1 you're gonna have to plus ultra, meaning you're gonna have to put a memory on a character that is going to give them plus ultra turn 1. In this case, I have Ida with his plus ultra on turn 1. I'll explain more about the memories after this run right here. We'll take a look at the memories on floor 1. But yeah, there's just a lot that goes into VE Tower. So really quickly before we start here, I'm going to re-say all that. You are aiming for 20 crits. You are aiming for 10 technical hits. You are aiming for 5 status elements. You are aiming for 5 plus ultras, and you want to do all of that in 4 turns. If you don't get all of that, you won't maximize your points, and you need to reset the floor by closing the app and reopening the app. Okay, so with that said, we're gonna go ahead and do a plus ultra. We want to target Redestro here, and then we are going to go ahead and we actually want to do this with Endeavor. Is going to increase his plus ultra gauge, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do body metamorphosis, which will also increase Seiji's plus ultra gauge. Okay, and we're gonna target Redestro. So here we go. All right, this also gives a Seiji status element counter, so if they attack Seiji, they have a chance to be meat lumped. Ideally, you want to land as many of those status elements as possible. Right now, we have landed 0, so I would probably reset at this point, but I'm going to continue through. Like I said, I'm not going to reset. All right, and so on Seiji, you're going to go ahead and use his plus ultra this turn. So turn 2, you need to plus ultra as well, right? And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this with Ida, and then this with Endeavor. The reason we're running Ida here in particular is because he has double attacks for the whole team when you use that skill right there. when you have double attacks, that gives you more chances to crit, right? And once again, we need 20 crits in 4 turns, so you almost have to run this. All right, we got 2 crits there. I don't think we actually burnt anyone, which is unfortunate. Ideally, you want to go for burns with Endeavor right there too, so if you don't get that, you probably want to reset. I did get the meat lump. Okay, so that's nice. That is our first, 2 status elements right there. You want 5 status elements by the time you're done with this run. So not ideal necessarily right now for what we're looking for. And then right here, you would use all 3 skills, okay? You actually don't want to use Endeavors plus Ultra. And the way this would end up working out, if you had the correct memories on characters, is that you would use all 3 skills here on turn 3. And then on turn 4, you would have all 3 plus ultras on all 3 characters again, right? And that adds up to a total of 5 plus ultras because you have a plus ultra on turn 1, a plus ultra on turn 2, and then 3 plus ultras on turn 4. Okay, so with that said, let's go ahead and do this. We did get another meat lump. So that is, I believe, 3 status elements total. And I don't know if we've actually hit our 20 crits. I doubt it because Redestro's health bar is so high. So if you've done this correctly at this point, by the time you get here, Redestro's health bar will be a little bit lower. And then you would have all 3 plus ultras and you have plus ultra Redestro. Now, why doesn't my Seiji have his plus ultra? Well, the simplest answer is I don't have the correct memory on him to give him his plus ultra. Memories do matter. And the memory that you need to run on him is a free-to-play memory. I don't have it upgraded enough to give him his plus ultra on this turn. So yeah, I'll explain that more when we actually take a look at the memories, but let's go ahead and use these 2 plus ultras. Ideally though, you would end this stage of the VE Tower floor 1 right here, okay? This would be the ideal 4-turn clear where you kill them both and you're done. And you've landed all your status elements and all your crits. All right, we did get another burn, so that's another status element. That would have been nice, right? And we've hit a lot of crits. Okay, but now I'm going to go for what I would consider to be a fairly decent 5-turn clear. And you can do a 5-turn clear and still get a decent score. When I originally got my first score, I'll probably improve my score from, spot number 20 where I'm at now. But when I originally got my first score, that was my first time ever doing this VE Tower. When I got that score, I did do a 5-turn clear on this floor. Okay, so even a 5-turn clear will get you in the top 100. And the higher you are on the rankings board for VE Tower, the more hero gems and rewards you're going to get. Okay, we got more burns, which is nice. I think we now have all 5 status elements, which is good. We meat lumped Redestro. And so I did not have enough damage done. This is going to end up being a 6-turn clear, which is actually really, really bad. But it's fine. All right, so that's a 6-turn clear. Ideally, you want a 5-turn clear to a 4-turn clear. 4-turn clear is the best. 5-turn is like you'll take it if you have to. 6-turn, you should be resetting. You definitely shouldn't continue through like I did right there. But we'll take a look at the overall stats and kind of what you're aiming for here. So you're aiming for 20 crits. We definitely got that. We got 28 crits, right? You're aiming for 10 technicals. We definitely got that. We got 14 technicals. You want 5 plus ultra moves. We got that. You want 5 status elements. You got that. And then ideally you want 10 skill chain to get the full points. However, in a 4-turn clear, you're going to get less than a 10 skill chain. But the reason why you don't want to go to turn 6 is if you look at the number of turns right there, it says times 1.44. Well, that multiplier goes down the more turns it takes, okay? So being at 4 turns means you have a higher multiplier right there, meaning you can actually get more points, okay? So that's why you want to do all of this in 4 turns because that's going to increase your multiplier, giving you the most amount of points for the floor. So right now I got 4,392. That's definitely not the greatest, okay? But yeah, that is kind of a decent team that I would potentially run for floor 1 right there. But let's take a look at the memories really quickly so I can explain those to you guys on floor 1. So on Ida, I have Miraculous Coordination that gives 70% increased plus ultra gauge. It also gives crit rate and it also gives technical hits. Okay, it's a very, very good memory. You do have to have it DX though for it to give that much plus ultra and the technical hits, okay? On Seiji, I have Adventure Weights. Adventure Weights is actually probably not the memory you should be running right here. Ideally, you're gonna be running a different memory, so I'll show you guys that memory. I have to actually switch over here to show you the memory. The memory you're gonna run is Coordinated Rescue, and that is the one featuring Uraraka and Sue right here. and when equipped by a female character, increases character's critical hit rate by 25% and critical skill impact by 45%. That part doesn't really matter, but then this next part does. Also increases plus ultra gauge of all allies by 10% when used in a character's second or later successfully executed skill chain, up to 2 times. When you fully DX this memory, it becomes 20% plus ultra gauge, right? For all allies, which is really, really good, and it counts as a technical. Now, since I don't have a DX'd, 10% plus ultra gauge was not enough for my Seiji to be able to plus ultra on turn 2. So I had to choose between basically being able to plus ultra on turn 2 with Seiji or being able to plus ultra on turn 4 with Seiji. So I had to go with Adventure Awaits because that then gave him enough plus ultra gauge raise to get him to his plus ultra on turn 2, because Adventure Awaits gives you, I believe, like 30% plus ultra gauge raise depending on each different type of character on your team when you have it fully DX'd. So that's why I ran that one. And then for this memory that I ran on Endeavor, this one is a really good SR memory. It's called Don't Look Back. Increases character's power by 25% for 3 turns when equipped by a UA high student. That part doesn't matter, obviously, because it's on Endeavor, but then this next part does. Increases character's critical hit rate by 25% for 3 turns when there are any UA high teachers on the team. Also shortens character's action skill cooldown time by 1 every 2 turns, up to 2 times. Okay, so it gives crit rate and shortens action skill cooldown time, which is what allows you to have the amount of skill change you want and do the plus ultras at the same time. I do have All Might on this team in a sub slot, so he counts as a UA high teacher, even though he's the fantasy All Might and even though he's in a sub slot. Okay, so keep that in mind. And now we have Team 2. All right, so Team 2, it's the same exact deal. We're doing this in 4 turns. You need to have 1 character plus ultra turn 1. And so the memory I'm running on Uraraka is a 70% increase plus ultra rate at the start of battle. Okay, I still kind of think this memory is pretty much pointless, but in this particular VE tower, it found a purpose, right? With the 70% increase plus ultra rate. Typically, I do not recommend DXing this memory. There are better ones to DX. Like if you had to choose between Miraculous Coordination and this memory right here, I would choose Miraculous Coordination because it is just way better. I'd have 2 Miraculous Coordinations before I have that memory. Okay, and then the memory I have on Aizawa, I have this literally here to give him 50% increase plus ultra gauge, and I feel like it's not a great memory because it gives him too much damage. Okay, but ideally any plus ultra gauge raise memory you can put on Aizawa is going to be a decent memory. And then last but not least, we have Night Eye here. Night Eye has this memory here that gives him composure for 3 turns when the battle starts, and then also when a wave starts, increases plus ultra gauge of a single ally by 25%, and if character has composure, increases character speed by 15%. So the thing about that memory on Night Eye is ideally, okay, you need it to proc on Uraraka. So Uraraka is getting 70% from her memory, then she gets 25% from Night Eye, and that gives her a plus ultra turn 1. However, it randomly chooses an ally to put that plus ultra gauge on for Night Eye's memory. So if it puts it on Aizawa, you need to reset. Hopefully it doesn't do that here, but knowing my luck, it probably will. I feel like it's 50-50, you know? So we'll see how this happens. Just don't put it on Aizawa. Put it on, and it put it on Aizawa. Look at that. It literally put it on Aizawa. Okay, I am gonna reset real quick, just so you guys can see the ideal run. Let's try this again. Hopefully this time, come on, go on Uraraka, not Aizawa, please. There we go. Okay, it did. Actually, that's perfect. Okay, so you'll notice that now Uraraka has her plus ultra turn 1. We need to use that turn 1. Then we're going to use this on Night Eye, which increases the crit rate of all allies, which is why we're not too worried about a crit rate memory on any of our allies. And then we need to use skill 1 with Aizawa and pray for the skill seal, because if we don't skill seal, even though it's a medium chance, it feels like it rarely ever procs, Overhaul will one-shot one of your characters, okay? So keep that in mind. Crit rate up. And we missed the skill seal, so we die. Okay, really, like actually, watch, we're gonna die. One of our characters is gonna get absolutely clapped, okay? So say goodbye. And we reset. All right, I'm not kidding when I say I have reset like 10 times now at this point, and I've obviously cut it all out so you guys don't have to watch that. But yeah, it's fairly inconsistent. You are hoping for, of course, a skill seal and to get the plus ultra gauge on Uraraka. It's a bit of a pain. All right, crit rate up. And finally a skill seal so he won't one-shot us. Let's go. All right, and then we got the plus ultra from Uraraka. Does a massive amount of damage, right? And we're hitting a lot of crits because of Night Eye, so we don't have to worry too much about a crit memory on him. And then we go ahead and we just do this, and you'll notice we have plus ultra turn 2 with Aizawa. That is ideal and what you want to go for. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do this, and we're aiming for a double stun for status elements here. So we'll see if we get it. Got a stun. Got another stun. So we sealed him turn 1, which also counts as a status element. And we bled him right there, so that is 4 status elements. Ideally with Aizawa right there, you seal again, and then that would be 5 status elements total, and you're done with status elements, okay? And then right now on turn 3, you have all 3 skills, right? And then on turn 4, you would have all your plus ultras back, because even though Aizawa is low, this skill right here gives him plus ultra gauge by 40%. So on turn 4, you would have all of your plus ultras back. And that's how you would get all 5 plus ultras, plus all the skill chain, status elements, and crits in that you need to get. However, my Aizawa is too high leveled, and my Night Eye is too high leveled, and I do too much damage, and the memory I have on Aizawa makes me do too much damage, okay? So if you have a lower Aizawa or Night Eye, you're actually winning in this. I wish they would add a function into VE Tower that let you adjust character levels for the stage, right? That'd be cool. But they don't. I also wish they would add a reset, like quality of life button, instead of having to open and close the app, because they know people are resetting to get these high scores. You can't get a perfect score without, like with RNG, you have to reset, right? And so they should just add a reset button. They know people are doing it. They should also, oh man, just fix the small things in VE Tower. But hey, at least we have a VE Tower. I'm happy to have it back, okay? My favorite form of content in the game, way better than Arena. It actually makes you think. All right, let's go ahead and do this. I am going to end up killing here. This is not ideal, right? But it is what it is. Watch how much damage I do. I do way too much. 51. 26, and Uraraka actually killed before Aizawa even got his skill in. Normally I can like get it to where Aizawa gets his in, but that is a 3-turn clear, right? But I am missing a lot of points on my plus ultra, which sucks. I'm also obviously missing a skill chain there, so I would have had 7 skill chain. I did get the 5 status elements, so I got that, but I only have 2 plus ultras. Normally, for getting all 5 plus ultras, that's 50 points. I got 10 points, okay? Also, I'm missing a technical because Aizawa didn't do his, so we have 8 technicals instead of 10. And then we only got 13 critical hits. Okay, so that's only 20 points. We're missing a ton of points on this floor. We got 4,632. Okay, so ideally, you want a 4-turn clear. That is going to allow you to maximize your points. Notice my number of turn multiplier is fairly high, 1.57. But I wasn't able to get everything else I needed. So that is definitely not ideal right there. But yeah, that is kind of how you do floor 2 there. Let's take a look at floor 3 now, since I already explained the memories and characters on floor 2. So for floor 3 here, we are going against a blue Deku. And so I'm really happy to be using the Celebration Bakugo. And you might think this would be too much damage, but it's actually not too bad, okay? The memory we're running on Bakugo gives him 50% plus Ultra Gauge. The memory we're running on Todoroki gives him the ability to use 2 attacks, which is also going to allow for more crits, and also gives him extra crit rate. And then the memory we have on Jiro is a technical memory that is also going to give her plus Ultra Gauge and crit rate. Okay, so with that said, let's go ahead and get into this one. And so for this one, you can go for a 4-turn clear or a 5-turn clear, I believe. If I remember right, I think I'm going to go for a 4-turn clear, but it's less than perfect. So there is a perfect 4-turn clear you could go for, but this is just the way I did this for, okay? You don't have to copy it. You can look for a different way. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do skill 1 on everybody. All right, and then we do crit rate up. That's 1 status element, by the way. And so with this team, you'll probably hit pretty much all your crits. It's not a given, but it's pretty common, so I wouldn't worry too much about counting your crits. I'd focus more on status elements. So far we've gotten 1 status element. Keep that in mind. Ideally, right here, I would have had all 3 plus ultras. So it's actually kind of crazy that I didn't get all 3 plus ultras. Normally, I get all 3 plus ultras right here, and I'm able to plus ultra with everybody. Let me reset. Okay, we'll use skill 1, skill 1, skill 1. Crit rate, crits, and a status element and another crit. Okay, so we're looking good on crits. Looks good so far. There we go, we got some additional crits in. Now we have all of our plus ultras like we're supposed to. Now we go ahead and full plus ultra across the board. Got a burn there, so that's our second status element. Got defense down. Did not get the confused with Juro. A lot of times Juro will land that confused. It's actually very important to land that, so unfortunate. I will go ahead and do these here. Didn't get the freeze there either. So we're missing a lot of our status elements right now. Keep that in mind. And notice that Deku is actually fairly low, but now we are on turn 4. Okay, so turn 4 here. You'll notice I already did 3+ ultras. This is my 4th plus ultra. You can get an almost kind of perfect 4-turn clear, but not quite, because we're lacking 1+ ultra, all right? But everything else you can get. You can get 5 status elements. You can get all the crits. I believe you get all the technicals with this. I'd have to actually, we'll see here in a second, but I'm not sure on that one. All right, I might have done too much damage though. I think I kill here. Yeah, I kill before I even get the plus ultra in. So I did do a little bit too much damage, but that's not always the case, okay? And usually you can fit that plus ultra in. So I am going to be missing 2+ ultras now instead of 1, which is going to make a big difference in score, right? But we did have all of our technicals, yeah. So this is a clear that you can basically almost get a perfect on, except for you will be missing 1+ ultra move, meaning you'll be missing some points. But you can get all 20 crits, you can get all 10 technicals, you can get 4 out of the 5+ ultras, you can get all 5 status elements, and you can get 8 skill chains in 4 turns. Okay, so you can actually get a fairly high score just by doing that strategy right there. There is a different strategy you can do with this team to get a pretty much perfect 4-turn clear. I honestly don't know what it is yet though, so I got to figure that out. But yeah, that is kind of how you clear this VE tower, how you clear all the floors. Hopefully this helped explain to you guys what you're aiming for, what you want to get for each floor to maximize your score, and I hope to see some of you guys in the top ranks. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider going down there, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.